right, we were able to not do bottom 4 on the front side still with respect to your homework, but the other ones we were able to do yesterday. Today, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you these bottom 4 here to finish out the worksheet here. We'll go over information in regards to parallel and perpendicular lines today. And you'll be able to deal with dealing with parallel and perpendicular and determine the equations with that. Questions you have on anything else of right now as you've gone through it? Yeah.
On the back one, like 8 and 9, does it matter what we make x equal as long as it's opposite or no?
Do not, it doesn't matter except for, I would not use positive 1 and negative 1.
Okay.
Because positive 1 and negative 1 will give you a false positive sometimes in certain situations. So my suggestion to you, what I always do is I put x equals 2 and x equals negative 2a. Okay, and that's usually the easiest ones to be able to utilize in regards to your symmetry or odd or even both. Okay, use positive 2 and use negative 2. Other questions you have? Good question though. Once again, you'll be given the opportunity to complete this. What we go through today with respect to our notes, we'll be able to complete this. Where this will lead to is on Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll have another worksheet sort of combines everything together, and we'll have an in-class assignment tomorrow. On Thursday we'll have a review day, and Friday we will have a quiz over this material. Once again, please do keep up with the material as we go through this. Very, very important to just continue to keep up with the material. Don't get caught behind because it will snowball on you real quick. All right, we want to be able to graph using the x, y intercepts and graph the 3 equations. What I mean by x and y intercepts is rather than converting this into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, finding your y-intercept and finding your slope, let's use the x and y-intercept method because we need 2 points to be able to graph a line. The x and y-intercepts, for your x-intercept, y is equal to 0, and your y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So if we take a look at our x-intercept, my y value is equal to 0. So if my y value is equal to 0, I can just cover up y here. So x equals 6. My y-intercept, my x is equal to 0. So I can just cover up x, and y is equal to 3. There's my 2 points. Now I can construct a line to those 2 points. So this is the equation, graph of the equation. Once again, it's all my solutions. X plus 2y is equal to 6. Okay? What I want you to do is I want you to graph the other 2. I want you to then determine the slopes of each one of these lines. What's the slope? Now, determining a slope, you can put into y equals mx plus b form, or you can just do delta y over delta x. What's my rise over run? I go up 3. My delta y is 3. My delta x is 6. I go up 3. If I go from here to here, I go up 3 and to the left 6. So I can use my delta y over delta x also, with what your positives and negatives. Or you can put it into y equals mx plus b form. So find your slope of each one of those. Get a graph down with each one of those. Check your slopes with somebody around you, check your graphs with somebody around you.
This would be by nine, one, and then, wait, how did I get two? Wait. Oh, that's where I got negative two, and then. Negative one. Okay, yeah. Okay, what did you get, please? Just negative two? Yeah. Because if it's over one, I need to change this to positive.
Okay, in the second one, Angelique, what's your x-intercept, what's your y-intercept in the second one?
-2
For x?
for x. And -1 for y.
-1 for y. So if I draw my line through those 2 points. Here's my second one. This is x plus 2y equals -2. Third one, x and y intercept for the third one. Abby, what do you have?
X-intercept is 1 and y-intercept is -2.
-2. So if I look at my graph, oops. So now my slopes. What's my first slope, Al? 1/2. Second slope, what do we get for the second slope, Kirsten? -2 for the second one? 1/2 is -2? One half for this one too? Alright. Then down on the bottom, the third one then, Kirsten, would be what?
My lines were wrong, so my slopes were wrong.
Ah, there we go, there's the problem. So first off, the 1/2s here. Are we good with the 1/2s? Can I sell anybody a negative on these? If I take a look at this, I can subtract x. So we have 2y is equal to negative x plus 6. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. So my slope here would be a negative 1/2. Or if I'm going upwards to the left, that's going to be a negative slope. Or I'm going downwards to the right, that's a negative slope going downwards to the right. So both those slopes should be negative 2. The last one here. Noah, what do you get for a slope for the last one? 2. And that's a positive 2. Okay, so there should be our slopes, and there should be our graphs. And this is 2x minus y is equal to 2. All right, we go to that now? All right. Whew, that was a rough one. Now, if we take a look at the graphs 1 and 2, let's compare them. What do they look like when you look at graphs 1 and 2, Jordan? What can we? How can we classify those two lines? What do you think? Parallel. They're parallel. And what is true about the slopes of both those lines? They're both the same. They are equal. So when you're talking about parallel lines, they will have equal slopes. Equal slopes. And if I take a look at the third equation and compare it to 1 and 2, what do those look like? What do those lines look like? What are the forms there, Thaddeus? Perpendicular. They form a right angle. Even though my graph is not quite perfect here, you guys have a better chance of getting that close. They're perpendicular. Which once again form a right angle. They form a right angle. Well, let's take a look at the slopes. We have negative 1/2, negative 1/2, and positive 2. Perpendicular slopes. How can we, what's the relationship between their slopes? Reciprocals, and also, one other thing with that, another adjective. Opposite reciprocals. They are opposite reciprocals. So these are opposite reciprocals. Opposite reciprocals. So what's the equation? Parallel and perpendicular. Two different equations here. To this line here, through this given point. So we're looking for two equations. We're going to first deal with parallel, and then we're going to deal with perpendicular. And we're going to be parallel and perpendicular to this original line. First parallel to this original line. Well, if I have lines that are parallel, they have to have equal slopes. Which means the 2x plus 3y equals negative 3. I need to find what the slope is. So determine what the slope is. Put it in y equals mx plus b form. Determine what the slope is. Check your answer with somebody around you. Good. Put in y equals mx plus b form. Subtract your 2x over, divide by 3. Olivia, what did it come down to for a slope?
Y equals
So what's our slope? So negative 2 over 3 is our slope. So we now need to be parallel to it through this line. So here's my slope of this original line. So my slope parallel is going to be negative 2/3. And I'm going through the ordered pair negative 1, 4. So now we go back to point slope. X minus x1 is equal to y minus y1. We plug in our slope, we plug in our point, and we solve. Now your solutions, once again, I will accept either or. Ax plus by is equal to c, or y equals mx plus b form. So put in your negative 2/3 and your point, negative 1, 4. And determine an equation. Check your answers with somebody around you. Once again, if you leave it in ax plus by is equal to c, that would be fine, or y equals mx plus b, that would be fine. I would take either one. Kirsten, what do you get for a solution?
2x plus 3y equals 10.
That's correct. And if you change it into y equals mx plus b form, let's see, y would equal negative 2/3 x plus 10/3. That would be correct also. I'd accept either or. Multiplying both sides by 3 cancels out my 3 here, so I have negative 2 that I'm going to take through to the x plus 1. Watch your negative here. So we have negative 2x minus 2 here. Distributing the 3 here, I got 3y minus 12. Add your 2x to both sides, add your 12 to both sides. 2x plus 3y is equal to 10. Slope perpendicular, Preston, what would be our slope perpendicular? Our original slope was negative 2/3. What's our slope perpendicular? 3 over 2. Flip it and make it its opposite. So now we're still going through this exact same point. So we're doing the same process over again. Okay? Going into point slope. The point we're going to go through is negative 1, 4. Slope is 3/2. Go ahead and plug it in. and solve. Once again, I have accepted either of our solutions, forms of the solution. And check your answer with somebody around you again.
Yeah, so whatever.
Brandon, what do you come down to for solution?
3x minus 2y equals -11.
3x minus 2y equals -11 is correct. If you had -3x plus 2y is equal to 11, that would be fine. And let's see, y would equal 3/2 x plus 11/2 would be correct too. Last problem. Okay, find the equation of a line that would be a perpendicular bisector to the segment with endpoints 1, 6 and -5, 2. Just getting a picture down here so we can see what's going on. Don't really need it here, but it gives us a good visual. Now we have to try to understand and go back and knock our brain a little bit. Think back to our fond memories of Dr. Clark and teaching geometry. And the term perpendicular bisector. I think perpendicular we have figured out, we form a right angle. But then we have to remember, what does it mean to bisect a segment? Cut it in half. So we're going to go through what point? The midpoint. So we are going to intersect at the midpoint. we're gonna cut it in half. We're gonna intersect at the midpoint with this line, and we're gonna do it at a right angle. So what we're gonna need to know is what is the midpoint. So this goes back to first section. What's going to be the midpoint? How do we find the midpoint? You have two endpoints of a segment. What's the midpoint going to be? Olivia, what's the midpoint?
Would be x1 plus x2 over 2, and y1 plus y2 over 2.
Okay, that's correct. So what do we have?
Alright, so I'll do this one.
We have negative 1 plus 5, or 1 plus negative 5.
Negative 4,
We have to divide by 2.
negative 2,
Negative 2. 6 plus 2.
8,
Divide by 2.
4.
4. Once again, x1, as she said, x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That's our midpoint. Next thing we need to find is our slope, because we had to be perpendicular to the segment. So we had to find the original slope of the segment. So to find the original slope, we have to go back to our slope definition, delta y over delta x. So go ahead and calculate your slope. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Find your slope. Jordan, what's our slope come down to?
2/3.
2/3? Yes, no, maybe so? So that's our slope. So now we have to go perpendicular to that. Well, if the slope of a line is 2/3, the slope of the line is 2/3. Riley, what would be the slope perpendicular to that line? If the slope is, original slope is 2/3, perpendicular to that, slope would be what? Negative 3 over 2. So what we have is we have this slope and we have this point. Now we need to determine the equation of the line. So we go back to our point slope. Our point slope, here's our slope, here's our point. Determine the equation of the line. Check your answers with somebody around you. Now what did it come down to?
3x minus 2y
Equals what?
-2.
I think we lost a negative here. Should have negative 3x plus 6 or minus 6. Alright. So we should have, try this again. Test, what do you come up with?
2 equals 3x plus 2y.
Or 2x plus 3y, or 3x plus 2y is equal to 2. Adding our 3x over, adding our 8 over, so we have 2 here, then we have 3x plus 2y is equal to a value of 2. And once again, if we put this in y equals mx plus b form, we have y would equal negative 3/2x. And that'd be a plus 1. Either one of those solutions is correct. Now what you'll be able to do now is the worksheet that you've been working on, the 4 problems at the bottom of the front page, you should be able to complete. So there's a sort of add-on type of homework here. We continue to work on it. You'll be able to complete that homework. You'll be able to complete that homework. Once again, tomorrow we'll have a worksheet sort of brings them all together here. Have an in-class assignment tomorrow. And then we'll review this up and quiz it on Friday. Questions? All right, you have about the last 10 minutes. You can work on these. Say hi, everybody. Wave.